If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed.
And a child shall lead them. All right, you guys, DJ Stream here. We are with DJ Nick tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Silent
Bob.
Planet is the next one on his list, and Anhedonia is the name of the song.
You know, C.S. Lewis had a book called Out of the Silent Planet. I wonder if they named their band after that.
Who knows?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Oh God. First line. What lies inside the memories?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Weird considering what we just said in the commercial break.
Yeah. I know. Must eat murder later. Don't know what that means, but I just thought it was just very, very fascinating. Okay. Oh, Iron Maiden does have a song Out of the Silent Planet, just based on the book, inshallah. Okay, guys, here we go. Out of the Silent Planet, Anhedonia! Release the good! Is it official?
From biting my tongue.
not playing games, bitches. Let's go.
The song not to end.
Yo,
that was really, really good.
Yes,
I'll tell you, that is my favorite style, I think.
Yes, Sherry Bobbert.
Oh man. Okay. Wow. Are we talking about Judas at some points here?
Yes, Sherry Bobbert. Ladies and gentlemen, when you
Oh, do we get shut down?
We'll see. I just got a notification. We'll see. But it's all right. Let's go. You got Judas in there? Let's see it.
Well, he said, well, that was at the end. Worship your greed, spread your disease, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I see the flesh as it hides in your teeth. It's a skin that you took when your lips brushed the cheek of the Savior you follow. Preach to the sheep who will follow you into... Oh, okay. All right.
Into antipathy.
Yeah, well, then you now depart from me and find an empty field to hang your head.
Yeah, that's Judas.
Yeah.
That's Judas.
But he's talking about religious people in this?
Well, I think he's talking about religious leaders.
Yeah.
And the religio-industrial complex.
Oh my gosh, the song was so good. Oh my word.
So Judas, with the money that he used to betray Jesus, he threw it away, and then he went out into a field and hung himself. And the name of that field was called Akeldama, which means field of blood. Which Akeldama sounds like a really good name for a band.
Yeah, it does.
Akeldama.
Yeah. You're right, it does.
So definitely has a lot of Christian overtones and undertones to it for sure. Mm-hmm. That was scandalous. Blackout, go away. We love you. We need this stream. Yes. Oh, shout out to Michelle's hubby. He was impressed with the song. Yeah. So these guys obviously have some sort of religious background somewhere.
Yeah.
What lies inside the memories somewhere beneath the medicines that plagiarize my sleep?
Well, I don't understand that line.
They try to keep me numb, but I'll break the silence now because there's blood on my lips from biting my tongue. Yikes.
Yep.
Holy smokes. Medicines that plagiarize my sleep. So the plagiarize is to copy something.
Yeah.
So it's probably, how they say religion is the opiate of the masses. Mm-hmm. So I think what he's saying is going along with standard evangelical religion was basically like taking a sleeping pill, basically. That's why he says, they try to keep me numb, but I'll break my silence now because there's blood on my lips from biting my tongue.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, which you cannot survive in these forms of evangelicalism and speak.
No, you can't.
Yeah, because the minute you speak, we were talking about this earlier about cancel culture and people acting like it originated, with the left.
Yeah.
There is nobody that will cancel you quicker than hard right evangelicals. They just will. So especially if you're a woman.
Yep. That's what I was thinking. I'm thinking about all those posts I keep seeing from poor women that have gone through all kinds of shit within the church, and nobody'll, they'll crucify you. Don't say anything. Just keep that quiet and just keep going on forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a fact. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but
it's awful.
And I just think I think that form of evangelicalism is going to die, and I think it's dying.
Let it die 1,000 deaths, man. Wow.
More and more
people are speaking out against it, and good for them. And the thing is, when you're the first ones that stand up against it, it's just like if you're the first ones when you're, old school, when they would fight the wars face to face in a field. You know what I mean? Like, you're in the front, you're going down. Like, that's it. I had my time of facing it, and I went down with the boat. And that was the beginning. Honestly, some of the beginnings of this channel was me after I was gunned down by, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Some of these people have no support, nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just, they don't have any support.
And the thing is, what happens within religious contexts, I think it's like the same with like a lot of different groups, but you get like, I don't know if it's close or superficially close. I thought I was closer to a group of people than I actually was, I guess. But you get in there and there's like this closeness, and your other friends and family and everybody is kind of like farther away. And then if you do something that they don't agree with, like, you feel it, and it affects every area of your life because they were a part of every area of your life. And so it can be, like some of these women that have spoken out against the stuff that was going on and the way that the church treated them and stuff is just, I don't know. You go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fatal to a lot of people, and the other side of that is that they will prop up women who allowed themselves to be abused. So they'll demonize the women who won't allow themselves to be abused anymore.
Yep.
And then they'll prop up as heroes other women who allow themselves to be abused.
Yep.
And that kind of, and it's typical carrot and stick type approach. And it's pretty insidious, obviously. Obviously very, very insidious. I mean, I want to just talk about one perspective. That's why I said it's not just women. I told a story in a live stream last week. I was doing one of those insomnia streams where we had a guy that was a registered sex offender, and we're not talking about, the girl was 16 and he had just had his 18th birthday. We're talking about he was in his 30s and the girl was 12. And asleep. And our issue was that the particular church we were going to didn't have a children's area because it was basically a converted bar. Mm-hmm. So because there was no way to separate kids from adults, I basically said, "Nah, we can't have you here, man." Mm-hmm. And of course, all the righteous people that didn't have kids were like, "Oh, we're not supposed to judge anybody, blah blah blah." And I said, "Nah, I'm not judging you. Look, man, we'll go to your apartment. Mm-hmm. We'll bring the bread and the wine. We'll bring our guitarist. We'll sing worship songs, and then we'll preach to you, and we'll take communion together. But you're not going to be in an area where there's a bunch of kids.
Nope,
we're not doing that." And this guy was bound and determined to be around the kids.
Yeah, he wasn't there for the bread and the wine.
And so I was like, I had one more conversation with him outside the building, and after that conversation happened, he got the picture that he shouldn't be around there anymore. It wouldn't be good for him, wouldn't be safe for him to be around there anymore. But then the other church, which was led by people above us, people who could be our grandparents.
Yep.
They took the guy in, didn't tell anybody about this guy. And then, a couple weeks later, they find him in the back in the library with one of the underage girls. And then they, summarily boot him out the back door and didn't tell him anything.
The back door.
And didn't tell any of the parents anything about this guy, what he was about or why or anything like that.
And you know what? The thing is, those things happen so fast. Something could have happened to that little girl and they just didn't see it, and the parents don't even know.
100%. 100%. So there's a lot of these really corrupt sort of practices that happen in these churches, and you just have to bite your tongue and move on. But but there is a woman who was being abused by her husband, and she's like, "Fuck it, I'm out of here." They had meetings. They had meetings about her. She didn't even go to their church.
Multiple meetings.
They had multiple meetings about her, but the actual child molester, they never told any of the parents.
Nope.
Just like, what?
Nope. And then the one woman that was in an abusive situation and decided to stay, like she was propped up as the poster woman.
Oh yeah. That woman was massively suicidal. All the rest of it, the guy just treated her absolutely horribly. Let me say it this way: the way that dude treated her, he would have got the death penalty in the Old Testament. Both of those women, the way that the dude treated his wife, like he would have got the death penalty in the Old Testament. And nothing. But the woman who said, "Fuck this, I'm not taking this shit. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
They had a whole bunch of meetings about her to keep the women in line and all. It's just unfreaking believable. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's weird because there's this like kind of, well, there is a leadership hierarchy, I guess, and then they can get too much influence, I guess you could say. And that's why the Bible is so important, is because it's the final word. So people will use verses and they'll kind of twist it around for their own benefit and their own gain. But if you look into it and you dig into it, you can see that, some of these stances that these people take, they're not even biblical. The Bible doesn't agree with them at all. And in fact, like you said, those people would have been dead if they followed the Old Testament. So
yeah, but it's clear to me now that, and obviously there's extreme forms of everything, and people talk about the patriarchy, but it is obvious. I mean, some of these guys are coming out and saying that they're patriarchalists. Some strains of, especially the reformed side of evangelicalism right now, these dudes are coming out and saying they're patriarchalists. They're not even pretending about it. And a lot of the power structure is designed to maintain that kind of male dominance and supremacy, so that if you're an abusive dude who is a whatever, you're doing all these horrible things to your wife and children, including your adopted children, they maintain those power structures for those people. But the minute the woman steps out of line, she's a Jezebel, she's this, she's that. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So if the dude is committing these horrific crimes, they're not going to call an off-site meeting about it, because then that has implications for all the other dudes. But they will call an off-site meeting about a woman who's no longer allowed herself to be abused. I mean, this shit is insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yep.
The second half of it is "Servant to an Empire, Courier of the Damned." What year was this song written? Because I guarantee it was around. It's got to be at least by 2020.
Is this 2021? It's from Iridescent.
From Iridescent, that's 2021.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you, the second part of this song is about the evangelical marriage to Donald Trump and the Republican
Oh, really?
Party. "Servant to an empire, courier of the damned. Worship your greed, spread your disease. Filling your coffers with duplicity, I see the flesh as it hides in your teeth. It's the skin that you took when your lips brushed the cheek of the Savior you follow, ostensibly preach. To the sheep who will follow you into antipathy." See, that right there is, and again, like, people always like misconstrue this. I have a very, nuanced relationship with Mr. Trump.
Yes.
In the sense of, I do not believe that Biden is better for black people than Trump, and I think I think now Mr. Biden has demonstrated, and I'm going to be respectful because he's the president. Scripture says, "You shall not speak evil of a ruler of your people." It's clear that the president here is, Mr. Biden has left much to be desired. I don't have a problem with a person being a pragmatist and saying, okay, if it's between Trump and Hillary, who's going to do the least amount of damage? I think that Hillary had demonstrated that she would do more damage, and she was a lot more insidious. Hillary was at the head of the Arab Spring, y'all. She's not the architect of the Arab Spring, but she was the executor of the Arab Spring. That's a fact. If you know anything about the Arab Spring, it's one of the things that created ISIS, and one of the things that that it was the main reason we had slave markets in Libya and slave markets in Syria and Iraq was directly correlated to the Arab Spring. So there was enough foreign and domestic data on Miss Clinton to say, okay, I'll roll the dice with Trump. I don't have a problem with that. The problem that I have is the way that evangelicals jumped on this dude like he was some messianic figure.
Yeah, it was weird.
And how quick they were to absolve him of all of his sexual peccadillos.
It was very, very weird.
They crucified Bill Clinton, rightly so, by the way, for taking advantage of some 19-year-old girl with a crazy imbalanced power dynamic.
Yeah.
But then they and then they saw us all through the late 90s and early 2000s crusading as the values voters. I don't know if you guys remember this during the Bush administration, that right-wing Christians were supposedly the values voters, and then Donald J. grab him by the junk Trump shows up, and all the evangelicals get behind him. And then when the liberals go, well, wait a second, I thought you were a values voter. Now all of a sudden they were saying, hey, we're not voting for a pastor, we're voting for a president. Well, then what the fuck was the Bill Clinton stuff that, people really think, we really thought that people were not going to see the obvious and blatant hypocrisy there. And like I said, Trump, he really psychologically changed the landscape of this country. There's so many institutions that lost so much credibility for or against this guy. I think the media took an irreparable hit because of the way they were with Trump. And I think the evangelical church took an irreparable hit because of the way that they were essentially worshiping that guy. I mean, there's no way to say it. The evangelical church completely compromised all of its statutes and all of its cultural stance by supporting Trump to the degree that they did. Again, I don't have a problem with saying this guy's probably going to do less evil in the world than Hillary. I don't have a problem with a person saying that. What I have a problem with is the anointing of Trump. He's anointed by God. He's chosen by God. Trump is a Christian. All types of craziness, dismissing his horrible, destructive, attitudes and the things that he was saying. Like, all of those things are look, we're studying Revelation a bit, in concert with the Jewish wars. And the woman riding the beast, the whore of Babylon riding the beast, from my vantage point, is Jerusalem and its religious institutions binding itself to the Roman political system. And so you see clearly there where the Pharisees and the rest of them use Roman power in order to get Jesus executed, etc., etc. And anytime a religious institution or institution instituted by God binds itself to the secular government, the government is not going to whore itself to the religious people. The religious people are going to whore themselves to the government. You are inevitably going to compromise because they're the ones with the power in the social realm, not you. So in order for you to be able to ride that beast, you have to whore yourself out. And that's the point of the whore of Babylon in Revelation. And what people are seeing when what people saw in those 4 years of Trump with the evangelical was the horrification of evangelical Christianity. That's what was happening. And that's why you saw this rash of people deconstructing, i.e. abandoning or apostatizing the faith. It was because of that. They didn't want to be part of a whorish institution. That's why a lot of these people who have deconstructed, man, I think they're all coming back. It's just that we need to slit the throat of this form of evangelicalism and resurrect to something that's closer to the original. Mm-hmm. But this whole bullshit where you get in you get in bed with the beast, nobody's going to want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
No, but let me not say what I was about to say. But yeah, really, really good song.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was an awesome song. You know, the topic's a little, but definitely a really good song. It's a 10 for me.
I would have thought Christians would have a field day after he called himself the chosen one on national TV. Correct. This man was talking about grabbing girls by the junk. He was talking about how he couldn't control himself around pretty women. He mocked people with physical maladies. I mean,
he came right out and said that when the girls were changing or whatever, he'd go back there.
Yeah.
What were they going to do about it?
Yeah, like, and all the supposed values voters and the people, oh, you went after LGBT people. It's not because you're homophobic. No. You just want to keep biblical standards. But then, you know, there's 6 passages about, you know, LGBT shit, whatever in the Bible. There's literally hundreds of passages about adultery and all the and greed and all the rest of it.
He called himself what? The chosen one?
Yeah, he called himself the chosen one.
I mean, that in itself should have been.
Yeah.
That should have got him shut down. They should have been like, the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they go? That, you know what I mean? They didn't follow their usual patterns with it.
Yeah, he said if he wasn't related to his daughter.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
I
whatever.
forgot.
He said
Yeah,
that shit
my gosh.
So it's like you completely have to whore yourself out to that guy in order to attach yourself to him. But there was that lure of power, and evangelicals sold their soul and integrity. Yeah. Because they wanted to have power in the highest offices in the land. And so, you know, thank God all these people are starting to deconstruct publicly. Mm-hmm. Good. They shouldn't be part of that institution. Nobody with any sort of soul within them wants to be part of that institution. Now, look, there are people that are inside that are saying, hey, we need to change that. I just don't think that this version of evangelicalism can be saved. I think that this version of evangelicalism is pretty much run its course, and I don't think it can survive social media.
Good.
Nor should it.
Good.
And as Amy Lee said, Neo and Trinity are the chosen ones. So there's that. All right, what'd you give the song?
I already gave it a 10.
Solid 9.4. Really, really good song. Really,
yeah, Dwayne,
really,
you called
really
it.
Good song. Huh?
When you said it was a 10, I had already decided. All right. Really great song. What did you say you gave it?
9.4, I believe.
Okay. Everybody's going high. All right.
There you are, dear listener. We got more coming for you. If you're in regular YouTube land, you can check us out at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're doing the right thing and you're here and you're not a square, then we will see you very soon. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Go.